Alright, tout le monde, on est au podcast du bruit à mes oreilles, toujours au Music for Cancer.
Toujours.
Max.
On n'est plus à sucré-salé.
On n'est plus à sucré-salé, on est rendu en dedans.
Ouais,
Max, on est avec qui aujourd'hui?
Avec Dave Brownsound de Sum 41.
Yes,
What's
sir.
up?
How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good.
Yeah.
Happy to be here because it's been about 8 years that Jay has sent me the message of like, are you coming again? Are you coming? Because I made like the first 2 years.
Okay.
And then, every year it's been like, I'm so sorry, I'm out on tour. As soon as Sub 41 came back into my life, I wasn't able to attend Music for Cancer until this year. But I think that it's important because this year is like, I'm a year and a half of being cancer-free.
Really?
So it's almost like we were waiting for the right time.
Yeah.
Yeah, the universe wouldn't allow me to come to Music for Cancer.
Oh, okay. I understand why you're here now. I mean, no, because I wanted to know how you happened to, why it chose you to be like the ambassador.
Oh, I mean, Jay and I have been friends for a while now, over a decade. And I mean, so I came with a band called Black Cat Attack and a band called Organ Thieves, 2 years in a row. And we were here when it was still inside a venue, a bar, and we played that. And I would go and run the barbecue. And I don't know why I haven't been asked to go back to the barbecue. I don't know if my cooking was that bad, but it was just hot dogs. I don't know how I messed that up.
From the way my dad cook, you can mess up hot dogs. I'm sorry, Dad, but hot dog sucks.
You know what though? Like, as far as cooking is concerned, like a French cook that rates a 6 is still like an 11 around Whitby, where I'm from in Ontario.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah, right. What's motivate you to come to become the ambassador of the Music for Cancer?
Well, I mean,
Because it's a while. You do the two first years, you said?
Yeah. So this was the first year I was asked to be an ambassador, and it was basically Jay saying like, "Hey, would you like to do this?" Because I was able to let him know last minute that we had a promo schedule. We just got off of a tour with Offspring and Simple Plan.
Yeah.
So I wasn't sure if I was going to be home for this, but if everything worked out timing-wise, I let Jay know as soon as I did, and then he was like, "Okay, you're going to be the ambassador this year."
Is it the first time you're ambassador for?
First time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And how do you like it? I mean, because sometimes when you're on tour, a lot of people in band used to stay like backstage and don't blend in the crowd.
Yeah.
But as an ambassador, you're always in the crowd. People, it's like
You have to do that.
You have to be there.
Yeah, you got to go and hang and be with people. But I mean, if it wasn't Music for Cancer, it'd be a festival that I'm walking around and hanging out in anyway. Because I mean, it's a collection of great artists. So why not go out there and be a part of the crowd? You know what I mean? And then also be able to enjoy special moments like watching Rancid on stage with Jay, the organizer, last night. Just, while Rancid is playing Time Bomb, just reaching over and giving him a huge hug. It's like those are the perks of being the ambassador, and also a why, because it's a beautiful experience, and being able to meet people that have put me where I am today, that means the world to me, because I've always prided myself on being someone that is approachable and that always has time for people to express themselves and be a part of my life. Longest answer ever, by the way.
No, it's all right. I just had a question. It's not a question, just a comment that I had when I saw you with your green Descendant shirt that I love. And I thought to myself, if I had to have only one band shirt, it would be that shirt. I have it in black, but
Dude.
I mean in every color.
I just saw them with Circle Jerks and Adolescents.
Oh yeah.
In Toronto. It was like, I kept on looking up to the sky like, how is this happening? 3 incredible bands from such an incredible moment in punk rock history, like sharing the stage together.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it happened all the time back in the day, but I wasn't around back in the day.
It's all
so
headliners.
Yeah,
not
exactly.
Touring
So,
together.
yeah.
Like you with Offspring and Simple Plan. What a tour, man.
Even if I didn't have a car, you would have seen me like Forrest Gump just running down the highway trying to make that show. Yeah.
So, you live Sum 41 in that time?
Yeah.
What motivated you to come back in Sum 41 and be the part of the party again?
Honestly, I know when I left Sum 41 initially, we had said musical differences. But it was really my family. But I didn't want because of our notoriety at the time, I didn't want my family to be in the spotlight, or I didn't want to snitch, essentially, on the problems my family was going through. So literally the day after I left Sum 41, I just had massive regrets, just huge regrets, and I wondered if I was doing the right thing for myself, or if I was doing the right thing for other people, and whether the right thing was to do something for myself or for other people. But it was the decision I made, and we were lucky enough to reconnect, Derek and I, around 2013, and the years that I was out of Sum 41, I formed some of the greatest friendships with people that are playing today. You know, Chuck Cole's of Creep Show. You know what I mean? And then getting back into Sum 41. One of my favorite people in the world is Tom Thacker from Gob, and you know, now I get to actually watch the two of them play as opposed to playing in bands with them. So yeah.
So in the end, it all worked out, and you picked up something positive from that.
100%. I think that if you can't see the positive and the negative of a situation and everything in between, I think that you're not taking an inventory of your life. And when I say that, I'm not talking about how much food is in the fridge, how much money you have, how much this. I'm talking about your well-being as a human being. If you don't take inventory of where you're at and where your happiness is at, I don't think that you are living a healthy life, because you should always take time to do this for yourself, and always take time to have good days, bad days, and everything in between. You know, but in the end, reflect and enjoy.
Yeah, for sure.
Amen. Yes.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. I've got a question. I want to bring you back when you were a kid.
Yeah.
The first time you started playing music, what made you want to play music, pick up a guitar, and
maybe how you discovered the punk rock music?
Well, it's odd. Playing music. I had cousins who were DJs, a cousin who was massively into heavy metal and drummed. And so my musical upbringing, it's so scattered from the funk records my dad would play, the surf records my mom would play, the reggae records my cousins would play, and then the metal records my cousins would play. So that had me loving music at an early age. As far as playing music, I didn't realize I was going to make a career out of it until we signed our record deal. I was convinced that I was going to be a guitar tech for some band, right? And as soon as I figured out that you could fix guitars for a band and tour with the band, I was like, yeah, that's it. That's the easy way to not have a 9-to-5 job. But as far as punk rock, it's kind of funny because the Suicide Machines played last night.
Yeah.
And my introduction into modern punk rock, aside from seeing Sex Pistols on Much Music, was a friend of mine. His name's Mike Bilcox. He used to play in a band called Not By Choice. So they had a hit back in early 2000s. And he used to sit with me in his Volkswagen and play me punk rock. Because I was a massive metalhead. And he was like, no, you got to see, like, punk rock, like, they're great. And I'm like, yeah, well, I like punk rock. I like the Sex Pistols, the Clash, you know. And he was like, no, there's been so much since then.
So much than that.
You've got some catch up to do.
Exactly, right? So he played me Descendants. He played me, Strung Out, which was the one that kind of perked my ear up the most. Suburban
because of the metal vibe a bit?
100%, yeah, absolutely. And then he played me Suicide Machines, who played last night. So just without his influence, I don't think I would have gotten into a space in our scene in Durham that accepted me as much. Because heavy metal wasn't as accepting of a scene. If you were in, you were in, and for life. And that's the beautiful thing about heavy metal, but it's also the ugly thing, is that it can be unaccepting and a little bit gatekeeperish. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Yeah. Whereas punk rock has the same kind of thing, but right at that moment in time, I was able to just integrate into a culture that was politically aware, non-racist, and accepting of whoever and whatever you want to be it it was the movement of gender acceptance before before today.
Cool, man. And do you touring, the life of touring, is it harder than you think it will be?
No, I mean, well, if you hate it, it's hard. It's really hard. Really, really hard. But I've never been the type of person that, I'll go play a show to 6 people, sleep on a floor, and still feel like I've accomplished something. And that's just the way I've always been.
Is it the part you love the most in playing music?
Sleeping on the floor?
Or, or studio?
No, it would be the connection that I make with other musicians.
All right.
And even if it's just for 4 minutes where I get to go and guest on a song or something like that, it's the connection with other musicians. That's the draw.
And I heard that you love to travel, so when you go on tour, it's like a journey.
100%, yeah. So, I mean, days off are usually spent walking around or playing guitar or, yeah.
Cool. It's all the time we have, man.
No, I've got one more question, if I can.
Go for it.
Do you have something like when you go on tour, like you especially want to do? Because I know that Sebastian from Simple Plan love to go into coffee shops when he's on tour.
Dude, I just had coffee with him yesterday.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
100%, yeah. And he was like, I've been wanting to try this coffee shop, so it's not even traveling. Like, he just wants to go get coffee.
Yeah, I know. When he's on tour, he picks up his coffee shop like he used to pick down.
Yeah, absolutely. So for me, it's gonna sound weird, but I love getting coffee, of course. I love getting a nice cheap meal, so not like an overly expensive spot. I like to go to like a mom and pop spot wherever we're at, but I like to go and do laundry. Because it makes you feel like you're a part of the city. It makes you feel like
that makes sense.
You're not a regular person, but it makes you feel like you can separate from the tour and be a part of society,
Be
contributing
a little bit
or not.
Yeah, it's feel like
you're contributing in laundromat. So.
There we go. Yeah.
It takes
€6 at a time. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Dave. It's a pleasure to meet you, and have a good day today.
My friends, it's an honor to be back here and to be asked to do this. I mean, it means a lot to me. So
yeah. Thanks
awesome.
a lot.
Thanks.
Yes, sir.